Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I hope that you are having a great day. Yes, it is Tuesday, where I normally am at 5 p.m. Central Time. Donovan is still in the DR getting his medical treatment, so y'all bear with him, but I think he'll be back here on Sunday. I think he's leaving the DR tomorrow, so hopefully they patch him all up, and give him all the care that he needs. He's been getting a lot of that. But anyway, I digress. The purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're a great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, a big giant thank you and hello and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation and you are family. When I'll be sharing the link today, as I am by myself. Let's see who's on here. Brother Reggie, how you doing? Thank you for reminding everybody to hit the like and all of that button. A special thank you to my triple OG moderators. You guys rock. I could not and would not do this without you. Mad Dog, what's going on with you? Lachey, hope you're having a great day. Sister Shirley, what is going up and going on rather? And Casual 42, yes, BA, FBA, and all of that. Diane, hope you're having a great day. JJ Mars, how you doing? Mike Nice, hope that you're having a beautiful day. And Miss Sweets, I'm so happy to see you back here, as we did miss you. Please do not do that again. Yeah, Miss Sweet, he getting his medical treatment. Arneba, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, Brother Troy, what's going on with you? And L, hope that you are well. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great day. So today we are going to be talking about Trump calling the Democrats, and specifically, the ones that I'm going to tell you about in just a second, the dumbest people in Congress for trying to impeach him. Yes, they tried to impeach him once again today, and I'll get into all of that in just a second. Marjorie, how you doing? Hope that you're doing fabulous today. But just before we get started, I don't know if y'all watched the news today. It was quite an event, I would say. What I understand, Trump did something that no president in modern day history, I guess, ever has done, and that's he dropped the F-bomb. He dropped the F-bomb on television when he was asked about the war that's not a war between Israel and Iran, where they were supposed to be under a ceasefire, but for whatever reason, that didn't happen. Israel was saying that Iran, they shot a missile at us, but Iran was like, that's a lie, we didn't do that. So I guess Netanyahu was sending some planes over to Iran to, drop some, bombs, whatever the case is. And Trump got all up on True Social, and of course, and went to X and all the social media where he says, do not do that. Turn those planes around, called Netanyahu. And so then I guess when he was going to, I think, the Netherlands for a NATO convention and all of that, the press stopped him and asked him, hey, what's going on? And he was basically like, I'm not very happy with Israel and, Iran as well. They're supposed to be doing a ceasefire. And he says, what the F? Neither one of them knows what they're doing, right? And basically he was like, enough. They're just basically going to keep on, bombing each other. And he was like, that's enough. So apparently Israel heeded what he said. Whether they keep it that way, it remains to be seen. It sounds like they recently accused Iran of dropping more bombs or shooting missiles or whatever it was. And Iran, again, is saying that's not true. We're not doing that. So I don't know. It all remains to be seen. But yeah, Trump, he reminded me of, like your mama when she's like, listen, I'm not going to repeat myself. Okay. I said what I said. What the F? So, of course, everybody got a lot of kicks and giggles up out of that or whatever the case is. That was funny, but it wasn't, because I understood his frustration. Like, okay, let's stop now. It would be nice if he take that tone with everything else that's going on in the Middle East, right? So anyway, before I get into it, let's see who else came on here, as I do not want to get behind. Let's see. Brooklyn lady, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Rickster Forrest. You said something about Trump and you had a lot of exclamation marks. Okay. Jacoby, how you doing? Says, good afternoon. That's hypocritical coming from them. They might as well impeach Biden administration, Obama, Jr., Bush, Senior, and Reagan. Oh, I'm sorry. They're not going to do that. Yes, we'll get into that too. Wimberly, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Edgy, what's going on with you? Who else came on here? And then I'll go ahead and get started. And Brother Damon, you made it early today. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, of course, there was this impeachment effort that took place today. It was a new impeachment effort. Of course, you guys know that Trump has been impeached twice during his last administration for a whole host of things. But this new attempt to impeach Trump, it actually failed today. In the House, as 344 lawmakers, including 128 Democrats, vetoed to block it. So basically, the attempt failed. I guess they sided with the Republicans, like, no, we're not going to, waste time trying to impeach Trump. Now, Representative Al Green, who's actually from Texas, he took up the resolution due to Trump's Iran strikes, right? He cited Trump's abuse of power, basically saying those strikes were unauthorized, right? Now, basically, they're saying, oh, he didn't ask Congress. He needed Congress's buy-in to do it, and he did it. He didn't do it. He bystepped us and all this other stuff. But like someone said just a second ago, in 2011, Obama struck Libya without congressional approval under humanitarian intervention. Now, of course, we heard all about what the Obama administration did to Muammar Gaddafi, destabilizing Libya, and it's still that way today. And in Iraq, it sounds like he did it in 2014 under the authorization for use of military force. Yes, that was something that was created or done in 2001. Again, I'm talking over my head, so forgive me. And then in 2021, Biden went to Afghanistan under the same 2001 authorization of military force and, did what he did there. Now, I'm going to show y'all something that Trump said about these aforementioned Democrats. Now, A.O.C., of course, you guys know that she's very vocal on Twitter, X, or whatever, calling for his impeachment, this, that, the other. And this is basically what he said. He says, let me remove this. He says, stupid A.O.C., Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of the dumbest people in Congress, is now calling for my impeachment, despite the fact that the crooked and corrupt Democrats have already done that twice before. The reason for her rantings is all over the victories that the USA has had under the Trump administration. The Democrats aren't used to winning, and she can't stand the concept of our country being successful again. When we examine her test scores, we will find out that she is not qualified for office, but nevertheless far more qualified than Crockett. Jasmine Crockett, right? She's the representative from Dallas, who is seriously low IQ individual, or Illhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country. Yet the failed country that she comes from, doesn't have a government, is drenched in crime and poverty, and is rated one of the worst in the world, if it's even rated at all. How dare the mouse, quote unquote, tell us how to run the country. Run the United States of America. We're just now coming back from the radical left experiment with Sleepy Joe, Kamala, and the auto pen in charge. What a disaster it was. AOC should be forced to take the cognitive test that I just completed at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of my physical. As the doctor in charge said, President Trump aced it, meaning I got every answer right. Instead of her constant complaining, Alexandria should go back home to Queens, where I was also brought up, and straighten out her filthy, disgusting, crime-ridden streets in the district she represents. Oh my God. And which she never goes to anymore. She better start worrying about her own primary before she thinks about beating our great, now see, this is crazy right here, beating our great Palestinian senator, crying Chuck Schumer. Now everybody knows that he's Jewish, right? Whose career is definitely on very thin ice. She and her Democrat friends have just hit the lowest poll numbers in congressional history. So go ahead and try impeaching me again. Make my day. What is it, Clint Eastwood? I didn't know. So I'm going to remove that, as that is very funny. So I did some digging just briefly. I'm like, wow, he made a lot of allegations, but specifically he took issue with AOC. He says her district is, in shambles. So I looked, and since 2019, crime has spiked 70% in her district, which I think is District 17 or 19 in New York. It says open air prostitution and human trafficking is, prevalent there. Illegal street vending, of course, that's where people sell food on the streets without no food licenses and things like that, or whatever it is, right? Also, it says that her constituents accuse her of being absent locally while mostly focusing on national campaigns and traveling with Bernie Sanders on the Fighting the Oligarchy tour, right? Y'all seen them all over talking about we need to get rid of the oligarchy of Illhan and all the, the billionaires, Jeff Bezos and all of them. We need to fight them. Now, AOC's office says she secured $12 million for community projects like Violence Prevention Center in the Bronx. She's advocated for local infrastructure like bike lanes. And I'm like, why are you always going for bike lanes? But anyway, hospital funds, educational programs, and public safety grants. So the question that I have for y'all, and I'm going to quit talking, is, does Trump have a point? Like, y'all talking about me, right? You're trying to impeach me again, which a lot of people are like, this is a waste of time, right? Because you guys, weren't mad. And A.O.C, Illhan, Omar, Jasmine Crockett, she might have been there maybe toward the tail end of Biden's presidency. But basically, you guys were there when they were doing things unauthorized, and y'all didn't say nothing. But now Trump is doing it for whatever reason, whether we agree with it or not. Now y'all want to have him impeached. He's just not asking Congress and things like that. But to his larger point, does he have a point? While y'all focusing on me, you might need to go sweep around your own front door because you got a lot of issues going on there. And it sounds like AOC might have a tougher primary than normal, right? Because normal seems like she kind of just gets in there or whatever. But, the people in her district like, yeah, we tired of her. She ignores us, right? So does he have a point? I'm going to get to the comment section. So thank you for bearing with me. Donovan, I see you on here. He says, they won't let me stay in the country. I'm being deported to USA tomorrow. You'll be all right. All right, so let's see here. Where did I leave off? Here we go. Arneva says, I think Iran would have stopped bombing if Israel would stop. They follow the Quran, which states fight with those who fight with you. And that's absolutely right. Israel struck Iran first. Okay. They call it a preemptive thing because they were storing up all this uranium past 60%. And with that, it sounds like from what people are reporting, when United States struck their, I guess, uranium or wherever they're storing it, it's supposed to be like 300 some feet below ground, that it didn't really do anything. It caused a little bit of damage, but it said it only set them back a couple of months, but no major damage was done. So that kind of remains to be seen. But there were other entities that's like, well, we didn't see any evidence of them storing too much, uranium, because the fear is that they may create a nuclear bomb, right? And so they don't want them to be able to do that. But absolutely. Sunlight, hope you're doing well today. PGH, Big Dog, what's going on? Long time no see. Timothy, rather. Thank you so much. Love and appreciate you. I cannot complain. I have complaints, but I will not complain. As God is always in the midst, and what's for me is for me. I don't know why I felt led to say that, but I'm doing well. How about yourself? Jacoby, he says, I forgot to President Bill Clinton's administration. Yeah, so there's other presidents that's done it before, Democrats, right? All of them are Democrats, and the Democrats are like, I don't have a problem, Sister Shirley says this was a waste of people's time. They need to stop it. Absolutely. Because it's like, what else could you guys be doing besides trying to impeach Trump? I mean, you did it twice already. And that's what I was telling my daughter earlier. I said, how is it that a man that was impeached twice, got all these charges, led an insurrection and a whole host of other things, how y'all let that man come back? That don't say a lot about him. That says a lot about the Democrats and who they were putting up. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like, okay, y'all gonna keep trying to impeach this man. You're just wasting time. GP, how you doing? You said just got here, but can't stay long. I think Demetrius should stop being a thief. I say that because the sight of her never fails to steal my heart. Oh, well, thank you for that. And what's up with you? Brother Reggie says Bill Clinton was impeached was impeached in 1998 and remained in office. Yeah, you know, and I don't think he should have been impeached. I think that should have been between him and, Hillary. He's having some strange things go on under his desk or in the Oval Office, right? But nevertheless, he was impeached. Yes, indeed. Narmer, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Raven, hope you are doing well. He says Trump is just like Biden in a mental state. His noodle is loose and needs to be put out to pasture. He needs constitutional article 25. Them people in Congress are cowards on both sides. Doing what's right is foreign to them. Yeah, but that's politics, right? I got you. Roz, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Brother Reggie says, George H.W. Bush, Clinton, Junior Bush, Obama, Biden all dropped bombs without permission from Congress. Yes. And I don't recall the impeachment conversation then, And Rick Sturdy says, talking facts. Let's see here. You crazy, Brother Reggie. Y'all better quit talking about Jasmine Crockett's wig. Chief Jonesy, what's going on with you? It says Trump reads more than the Constitution. Okay. I mean, he's on to something because I, looked to see what was going on in A.O.C.'s district. And I'm like, yeah, well, he's right. And then Chuck Schumer, that was like, wow, he's calling Palestinian and he's not. But I guess basically I don't know why he did. I won't speculate. But yeah, Chuck Schumer is a Democrat, big time Democrat, and been in, office for a long time. But apparently he's skating on thin ice too. Oh, and I should say, when he said the Democrats' approval rating is the lowest it's ever been, it's currently at a 21%. But his is at 41%, 38%, 41%, depending on who you believe. So his is pretty low too. But 21%, yeah, that's almost like, can you count that? Yeah. Norma says, what wins is he talking about outside of deporting a few immigrants? I don't see any wins. Well, of course, the one that's in control is going to say I'm winning, right? I didn't really get too far into that as it's early on in his presidency, right? So I guess if you want to talk about the immigration situation, from what I understand, they're trying to deport, is it 2 million illegal immigrants this year? But I think they're only at about 200,000 from what I understand. So I don't even know if you count that a win. It's, June. So they got 6 months to go. That's a pretty audacious goal there. 2 million by the end of this year. I don't know. So you raise a good point. Let's see here. Who else came on here? Damien says the orange man is on fire. Okay. Let's see. And Lachey says, wow, I have more to say. Okay. Mad Dog says, well, Trump is lying about, he said, well, Trump is lying about anything. No. So he's saying, is he lying about anything or he is lying about anything? Let's see. Brother Reddy says A.O.C. district is full of streetwalkers. That's what I heard. I just read that. So I guess so, right? Damon says only problem with Trump is he's following the Israel, right? He's following Israel, but he's pretty upset today with Israel. And a lot of people are kind of shocked because they've never heard him or anybody use that tone with Netanyahu or Israel. So they're like, what's really going on here? But I don't know. I just kind of got the sense that he was more or less like, listen, I'm not going to keep talking to you, man. Y'all benefit from us way more than, we benefit from y'all. And you can't take my advice. Yeah, this is getting real old, right? He's basically like, you need to stop. So it's getting very interesting. Let's see who else is on here. I know I'm very behind. Mission Vision, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else? Delmonte Green Beans, how you doing? Long time no see. TRT thinking through what's going on with you says, I think he's 100% correct. They are dumbest people in Congress. Damn, the truth hurts. And I saw Jasmine Crockett. She was somewhere talking to a group of Black people. And forgive me, I don't know where she was. But she also say MF her. I'm like, man, her mouth is really foul. Like you talking to, I don't know. So it's crazy. Norma says he doesn't have a point. Divided states is losing daily. Look at Ukraine and the Near East. Yeah, and to his credit, Ukraine and Russia were in that war, if you will, when Biden was in office. Although it does sound like he said he was going to stop the war or whatever, but that's kind of still going on. But I understand Ukraine is going to the NATO meeting to try to see if Ukraine can join. So I guess he's trying to get that protection as well. So that remains to be seen. Italian, how you doing? Says Trump is correct. Laugh out loud. The Democrats of 30 years ago are gone. Now it's just a bunch of socialist, communist party. Yeah, some people will argue that, of course, AOC and Bernie, they're considered to be, well, Bernie's not really a Democrat, but he kind of sort of is. I don't know. But yeah, they're very into socialism for sure. Brother Reggie says Trump could stop an asteroid that's about to take out Earth, and AOC and company will still try to impeach him. Yeah, they just don't like him. And I get it, but it's like, what else can you be doing that you're sent to Washington to do, right? You're not necessarily there. I mean, you're there to hold the president accountable, but you're also there to take care of your district. And people are saying you're not doing that. So what's really going on, right? Maxwell, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And I see you guys' comments, but I want to skip down to kind of, you crazy, Donovan. Make sure I catch up. It says, make Dominica great again. Keep Donovan in the DR. Well, just stay. Do like they do here. I'm here. I'm not doing anything. I'm just here. And let us know how it goes. Be easy, GP. Sunlight said, that sucks. How many times will America be spared in a whipping? Oh, it's, if you know, you know, right? Hold on a second. If you know, you know. It's not if, it's when. So it really all remains to be seen, right? Think it through says clearly impeachment means nothing. So they just talking a bunch of nothing, a bunch of time wasting, nothing. Totally. Because what are we doing, right? Marcellus, how you doing? Says Marion Barry playbook. And explain that if you don't mind me asking. Thunder, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Seth, what's going on with you? Looks like you are from the UK. And Miss Wee says Bill and Monica, yeah. That was for Hillary to hit him upside his head with a frying pan. I don't know whether she did that or not, but impeachment, I don't know. Brooklyn all day, what's going on with you? Says everywhere, but I will introduce you to my cousin, Mo, with the varieties. And do tell, I'm not quite sure what that is. King Shaw, how you doing? Says it made Trump more popular every time they've tried to cripple him. Yeah, and I don't understand why they don't get that, right? Proud Native Chick, how you doing? Says impeach Trump. Okay, but they impeach him, and then what? What does that do? I mean, he's already got 2 impeachments on his record, which is, when I understand, the most in history for a president. So what does an impeachment actually do? Are they going to also seek to remove him after they impeach him? So what does that actually do? And like he said, I mean, y'all got other things you need to be focusing on besides, keep trying to ruffle my feathers or whatever the case is, because to that, if the Democrats would get on their war horse and do what they're supposed to do, then maybe they'll have a shot, but whining and screaming and crying all over TV and dropping, F-bombs. I know Trump did it too. It's counterproductive. The people are looking for solutions, So I'm just asking. All right. And Timothy, thank you so much once again. Love and appreciate you. Says, do y'all think the U.S. is a third world country? I don't know about that. I haven't really been to that I know of a real third world country, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I wouldn't think so. I think regardless of all the things that the United States has going on, I think it's far better. And I'm not really kind of talking about politics. If we're talking about infrastructure, I don't know. I think it's a little bit better off, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Although you hear people say stuff like that, right? Nyla, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mad Dog says Jasmine Crockett ain't nothing but a clout chaser. Yeah, and it sounds like she was trying to be something, and don't quote me, in the House, but the Democrats did not elect her to whatever it was she was trying to do. Sounds like a lot of them voted against her. Like, whoa. Brother Reddy says Ratchet Jazzy dropped out of a race for top. There you go. I should have read your comment. For top House Oversight Committee Democrat, as she came in last place. Her own party didn't vote for her. Yeah, there you go. So what does that tell you? They just had her out there screaming and hollering, acting like sassy sassafras, with all these, quips and all these other things, and they didn't even vote you in. So that goes to show you all that gum bumping you was doing didn't amount to any respect from your colleagues. That has to hurt. You went out there and made a whole donkey, no pun intended, right? Because you're Democrat. But you made a donkey out of yourself over and over again, and your own people was like, nah, we good on you. Why? Last place? Okay, second, third. But last? He came in last? definitely be very concerned. I would be, you know. Uh Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? It says peace and love, fam. Says notice the black carcass went down. Is not condemning the war, just Trump, because they are in pocket of APAC. Of course, they all are, right? And that we know for sure. 7 cents, what's going on with you? Says impeachment is just an indictment, must be convicted in the Senate. Yeah, so we know that ain't gonna happen, right? Because who was running the Senate? The Republicans. They're also running the House. So it's like, okay. Sunlight says, I think Trump was performing again. He's an actor. Oh, yeah, for sure. They all are. It's kabuki theater. They're all acting, you know, but I agree with you, you know. And Thunder says, question, with what's happening overseas, we should focus on getting what we can before it's not available or priced too high. Yes or no? Yeah, absolutely. You know, they are speculating that gas will go up. They don't know. They're hoping that things are starting to settle down, I guess, between Iran and Israel, that maybe that won't happen because Iran, the passageway, and forgive me, I don't know the name of it, but that, you know, I guess the tankers or whatever is just transporting oil or whatever go through, they control that. So we could see gas go up. So hopefully it doesn't. I know they said here in Houston that has gone up almost 13 cents. I think over the last week or so. So I don't know. I don't drive much. Thinking through says, I didn't vote for him, so I ain't got no complaints. Deportation is a favor for FBA. He fine with me. Got you. Yes. King Shaw, Israel controls both parties. Rick 30 says he's cleaning illegal aliens out of America. That's what I voted for him to do. Okay. Beverly, how you doing? Hope that you are doing well this fine evening. Terry, what's going on with you? Thank you so much. Norma says all Democrats do is talk. Where's local reparations? That's the question. No, I haven't heard them talk about that yet. They've talked about everything from, you know, crashing out about the migrants in these ICE detention centers and everything else, but nothing about reparations. They talk about it here and there, but they're not serious. You know, we heard I don't want to call her bald head lady, not to be disrespectful. Ayanna Pressley, Representative Ayanna Pressley. She was talking about we need $3 trillion, you know, for Black Americans, and we ain't heard her say nothing since, you know. Priscilla, what's going on with you? Odie, I hope you're doing well. Says Trump is getting a bit out of hand too. They all are, you know, but the question is what they're going to do about it. See, if people show up to the state and local elections and you get people in there that's going to hold him accountable, then, you know, to me, that's the larger conversation. But we are so focused on the national elections. Oh, I got to get in and get the Republican or the Democrat. But you're not voting on the judges. You're not voting on the sheriffs. You're not voting on the House, the representatives, the senators. You're not voting on none of that. You don't even show up. In fact, those elections have the lowest voter turnout. Now, with the House representatives and the senators, they could go to Washington and say, hey, man, we need you to sit down. We need you to, you know, cool it. But ain't nobody in the office going to do that right now. The Democrats, they ain't really got no power right now. But all they doing, right? The Republicans is like, yeah, we MAGA, we rolling with Trump. But if you really care, then go to those state and local elections and say, okay, if we send you to Washington, are you going to hold the president accountable? That is your job. That's part of your job, is to make sure that the president is doing what they're supposed to be doing. You don't just give him a blank check. Now, of course, he has some executive powers, but at the end of the day, if Congress wanted to, they could change the Constitution if they really wanted to do that. So there you have it. Timothy, once again, thank you so much. He says, gotta go. Don't let Satan take your focus off God. You ain't lying. That's a word right there. But I love and appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. Brother Reggie Crazy says, where's Timu Obama, Cory Booker? I don't know. Where is he? You know? Let's see. Who else came on here? Simo, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Naila says, Trump is worried about he says Trump is not worried about no Democrat nor impeachment. Hillary Clinton complained about Trump paying no taxes during the debate. Trump told Hillary Clinton, you will not change the tax laws because you and your billionaire friends enjoy the same benefits. The U.S. Congress has millionaires. Yeah, he was right. They all benefit from that. You know, talk, oh, these are the tax cuts for the rich. It's like, fool, y'all are the rich. And you're going to, you know, give some lip service, but you ain't really going to do nothing about it because you ain't trying to pay all them taxes either, right? So you're right. Brother Rachel says, side note, so happy to be back in the chat. Couldn't watch while I was in America. Or couldn't catch you, rather, while I was in America. I'm sure you were very busy. But you know what? I was traveling, and I'm so happy to be back home, too, so I can, you know, get into the swing of things. I like to travel, but then I don't because it like, throws me out of whack. And then I got to, like, recenter myself. So, yeah. But I'm glad you're back in the chat, too. Sunlight, it says the fall of America is on my to read. Listen, when you read it, you're going to be like, okay. Yes, indeed. Sunlight also say impeachment is a nothing burger. Absolutely. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? He says, I've heard about blacks in LA trying to purchase property near Baldwin Hills, Crenshaw area, and they raised $110 million, but the city of Los Angeles sold it to Russians for $107. That is absolutely correct. Now, of course, if you know anything about Baldwin Hills and Crenshaw area, it was predominantly black. You know, I won't say that the mall was black, but that's where a lot of black people went. The area is black, and they raised the money to buy it. And yeah, the LA City Council was like, well, we'll let somebody else do it. So why wouldn't you have that be black owned? See, that's part of the problem too. We don't show up. We don't show up to the state and local elections. City council, they control what's going on in the city. The mayor is the, you know, president of the city. So when we start showing up and saying, okay, now if we get $110 million together to buy the Baldwin Hills mall or whatever the case is, are you going to let us do that? You know, we got the money. Why would you sell it for $3 million less unless you just hate black people and you don't want black people to have that? So you're right. Marcella said they tried to get mayor of DC out of office by setting him up. Oh, gotcha. Marion Barry, yes. By getting him out of office. Get him out of office by setting him up on a drug case, and black folks voted him back in. Well, you know, yeah, he was doing a little cracky crack, but it sounds like for the most part he was, you know, doing for the people in his district, right? So I don't know, but then of course we know too that that's just kind of how we are, right? Maxine Waters, Jim Clyburn, and you name it, do nothing. And it's like, well, you know, they black. We got to keep them in office. But Marion Barry sounds like he was a little bit different. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see here. John Branch, what you how you doing? I see you put this link in there, but I can't click on it from here. Tracy, hope you're doing well. He says, yes, America is third world. Okay. Sunlight says Trump can't talk. Groceries still high as ever and wages low. Yeah, I went to the store today, not to the grocery store, but to get some things. And I was like, man, y'all want $60 for that? And so I was talking to a lady in five and below. I think that's how you say it. She says, yeah, everything has just gone up. Everything. Everything in the store has gone up. And we were telling her, yeah, we went to other stores and things have just gone up. You know, it's crazy. All right, let's see. Terry says, cut the check for reparations now before it's too late. Yes, it's past too late, right? Lachey says, if Trump take away Social Security and Medicaid from us poor people, we are all screwed. Yeah, that is true. And it's sad, you know, especially because a lot of people pay into that. It should not be taken away, especially when so much money is given to everybody else, whether it's the Democrats giving it to immigrants, whether it's Democrats and Republicans giving it to other countries and things like that. From what I understand, people in Israel, they don't have to pay for school and medical care and things like that. And they get a lot of American dollars. But yeah, if they're trying to do that, that does suck. But again, that's where you make sure you vote the right people in local office, right? So they can say, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to screw the American people over while everybody else is eating greedy. So we really have to re-examine that. JJ says Jasmine just wants celebrity status. Most definitely, but I think that's kind of fizzled out because for a while I was like, where is she at? You know, and then she reemerges with, you know, the mother effer. Damon says some of those brown folks have California looking like a third world ish hole. Yeah. And I wouldn't say it's just the brown people. There's a lot of homelessness going on there. There's a lot, you know, of course, you know, I know you live in California. I'm California born and raised. It's hard to live there. You know, and you got politicians who don't allocate the money to the right things. It's a lot going on, you know, especially in California where they're spending all that money on illegal immigrants, but yet the rest, like you said, California looks a mess. People are struggling there, and they fighting to have people come over there who shouldn't be there. So third world in certain places, yes. I was there last week, and it's like, yeesh, it's crazy, you know. And we say ish hole, like literally, right? Because if you're homeless, where do you go to the bathroom? You know, I think they even said that some plague or something. Damon, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was it the bubonic plague? Something like that was going on like downtown due to that, you know. So yeah. My daughter was like, ew. Delbody Green Beans says now her reputation is damaged. She can't mean well anymore. You talk about Jasmine. Odd Negroes, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Extreme X, what's going on with you? I've not seen you in a long time. He says, hold on a second. I got it for you because, you know, I really can't say that on here, but I can say, oh, he's upside down. They never learn. That's what you're saying. They never learn. You never learn. You need to listen. Okay. There you go. Monet, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Cedric, what's going on with you? He says, you must be a teller. What kind of teller? Corey, hope you're doing well today. Damon says, just get prepared, FBA family. Yeah, get prepared. I have an awesome book that I have not started. Hey, Deanna. Hold on a second. Yes, I'm calling you. She's probably like, I got a book that I haven't read yet, and I'm going to start reading it. A 7 cent, you say, the Straits of Hormuz. Oh, yeah. That's what they control. Can you get my new book off of my by my bed? I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes, that's what it is. The Straits of, I'm put it up here because I'm gonna jack it up. The Iranians they control, right? Let's see who else is on here. Warrior 2024, how you doing? It says dumb is the word. Jeez. Okay. Nyla says the Democrats will utilize this impeachment attempt for the next presidential election. Thank you so much. So this is the book that I ordered. I have not read it yet, but it says Weathering the Storm, Disaster Preparedness, How to Survive the Fall of America, rather, by Landra L. Muhammad. So I haven't read it yet. But it's, I guess piggybacking off of the Honorable Minister Honorable Elijah Muhammad's Fall of America, and telling you how to get prepared. And it has a list and, different things you should have and do, not if, but when it goes down. So again, it's Weathering the Storm, Disaster Preparedness, How to Survive the Fall of America by Landra L. Muhammad. So I'm going to check that out. I can't wait to get into it. All right. Roger says the Democratic Party has a history of discarding Black women when they are done using them as tools. Whatever happens to Jasmine Crockett is her own fault. Yeah, she wanted to crash out for the Democrats. And like you said, unfortunately, a lot of our sisters do that. They like to crash out and they get nothing. They help everybody else, but they don't help their own people. So, hopefully that they'll get the message and stop doing that. Panther Strike, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see, who else do we have on here? I didn't mean to call that lady the bald-headed lady, but Ayanna Presley. Extreme X says Westmore is trying to get back in the graces of Black people since vetoing the reparations bill. Yeah, he talking about he got, some millions of dollars for this, that. Again, they want to tell Black people, Black Americans specifically, how to spend the money. Well, it's going to be kind of like reparations, but I'm going to tell you how to spend the money. It's like, nah, homie, give us the check. We don't want you to tell us how to spend the money. Run us our money and we'll do what we want to do with it. If I want to go to school, whatever it is, I'm going to do that once you give me my money, but don't tell me how to spend my money, right? But you're right. And, and I think, too, they're trying to prop him up to maybe run in 2028. But, yeah, you need Black people to do that, homie. And you vetoing you as a Black man. So you say, right? You're vetoing reparations for Black Americans, and then you're going to show up potentially in 2028 talking about, hey, big head, I need y'all to, to show up and vote for me. Nope. So, yeah. Let's see. Corey, you crazy. Talk about bring ice. Raven says, becoming independent Political people, cash paid reparations for FBA and economic unity among Black people should be our goals. Absolutely. Panther Strike says 2026 midterm elections are right around the corner. The Dixiecrat Party is running scared right now. Yeah, but they're not talking about nothing. They're still talking about impeaching Trump. You know, it's like, well, tell people why they should put Democrats back in control. Because when you guys were in control, y'all didn't do nothing for really to make life better for nobody, you know? So instead of talking about impeaching Trump, you guys got to next year, right? The midterms are next year, and y'all running around like a chicken with your head cut off with a 21% approval rating, thinking what? People see that people is like, people can see the emperor has no clothes, right? That the emperor is naked. We can see that the Democrats have no plan, no leader, no nothing. So what is the plan? You know? So yeah. Aaron, how you doing? Says getting a bit out of hand. He was out of hand his first 100 days in office. Yeah, well, the crazy part, Aaron, is he said he was going to do that. He didn't bite his tongue. He said he was going to do that. It was no secret. He's doing or trying to do everything he said he was going to do. And yet they let cackling Kamala run around the country talking about mass deletion of babies, you know, illegal immigration, and LGBTQ, this, that, and the other, trans. They let her do all of that. And when people are like, we don't want you to do all of that. And she, you know, so it's like, I don't know. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? Says, I just hope they stop birthright citizenship. It has gotten out of hand. Yeah, they're trying to apply it to everything but the people that was meant for, and as freed slaves, if you will, freed people. Damon says, ICE pays well, need more Black ICE out there. I haven't really seen too many, now that you mention it. Tommy, how you doing? Says, so folks think if they force Trump out of office, there isn't going to be any domestic military response. I hope they know the J6 are his personal militia. You know what? You got a good point there. Diane says, the president doesn't run the country. The military calls the shots. Yeah, that is true. You know, mostly, right? At the end of the day, rather. If things get too far out of hand, they're going to be like, okay, homie, you done. Brother Ray says, every time these dum-dums try to get Trump on something, they end up exposing themselves. Yeah, I agree with you. Mike says, he told Hillary, you and your peeps get the same tax breaks. And she was, Corey, thank you so much for the super sticker. Love and appreciate you for that. Negro says, every time we ask for reparations, they throw us into war. I mean, I never looked at it like that. I honestly think they're not really paying us that much attention to the point of wanting to start a war. And then if you, depending on who you ask, we're not in war. You know, Donovan, who is an expert on all of this, he says we're not in war. So I would believe Donovan. Of course, he's done 16 tours of duty, spent 24 years as a pilot in the Air Force, right? And he's been here and there and everywhere. So he says we're not in a war. Even though you do hear like the Democrats saying we're at war, but a lot of people are like, no, we're not at war. So I don't know. Let's see. Arneva says Black should boycott that mall. I agree with you. Talking about the Baldwin Hills. Yeah, I totally agree. Y'all, you know, want to sell it to everybody else with Black people. Most definitely don't go. Right? Don't give them the money. Go somewhere else. Or, you know, build another mall. Let's see. Rodney Brown, how you doing? Says, don't vote until they give us Black American freedmen reparations. Absolutely. And how you doing? And Rick 30 says, my finger is speed dialing. What? I think it through says, it's no way American can be third world when we can't support illegal immigrants and set them up for 5-star hotels. Yeah, there's a lot of signs that kind of says we're not. Maybe we're on the way, but I don't know. Negro says only 177 billion to lift people out of poverty. Yeah, and they tricking that off with everybody else, right? Timothy says, leave America, get your passport, and let the elites destroy it without our presence. And I thought she was leaving, but it seems like you came back. Glad to see you back. Tracy says, Jasmine has fizzled out. Yeah, that has to suck for her, you know, to know that, man, it's over already. Hey, one who cares. Hope you're doing well today. Let's see. Arthur Jones, he says FBA. Okay. I'm just skipping down a little bit. I'll tell Deanna you said hello, Brother Reggie. I'll be getting on her nerves. Odie, what's going on with you? Says, if Westmore said that, that's even more insulting. Yeah, it is. Norma says they do that ish in New York too. We're getting you money to improve schools and fight crime. That money ends up in white women teachers and white men cops. Don't fall for the BS. Yeah, we don't need them to tell us how to spend our money. Give us the money and we can do what we want to do with it, right? Absolutely. Lachey said, yes, I have to read this book. Yeah, absolutely. We got to get ready. Sweet Daddy Kool-Aid, one of my favorite names on YouTube. How you doing? It says, considering leaving the country in 5 years, maybe South Africa, Dems and Democrats and Republicans both pandering to Israel. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are getting out of here. I can't remember some celebrity I saw today. I can't remember who it was, but I think they're looking at moving to South Africa. I cannot remember who it is, but yeah, a lot of people are just like, yeah, I'm gone. Gerard, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says Democrats made life better for the migrants. That they did. Agent Black, I'm glad you're back. Says good to see you, Demetria. Quick question, little unrelated, but do you know any good life insurance companies for Black people? I was looking into trying to get some life insurance while in my 30s. I would say, and I want to say off the top, I used to sell life insurance. I don't have the ability to do it anymore. I would say they're probably all pretty good. It just depends on what type of insurance policy you're looking for, right? Whole life, term, or, anything in between, universal life, just whatever you're trying to get. But do your research. And I know a lot of times the conversation is out there, oh, life insurance companies are a scam. They wouldn't be in business if they were scamming people, Now, there are agents out there that do things that they shouldn't be doing, but for the most part, insurance companies, they're, regulated, heavily regulated and things like that. But I would say they're all, pretty good. Just see what kind of policy that would suit you best. Sit down with somebody that can go over a budget analysis with you to see exactly what's suitable for you, something that you'll be able to keep, right? So that's the advice that I have for that. I hope that helps. Arthur, you say reparations. I got my mind on that. Check. You and me both. Sherry says, just like old Jim Crow. He says, did everything he said he was going to do. He said he was going to help the illegals and open up the borders, and Black Americans need to learn how to get along with them. That's what Joe said. He did, right? Brother Reddy says the other day, Jazzy Ratchet, and I quote, said Trump should have hit them up before bombing Iran. Hit her up. That heifer can't even get a jaywalking law passed. Exactly, right? And I think that's what she said, right? I think she said that MFer or something like that. It was crazy. But yeah, I think she's kind of done, right? Del Monte Green Bean says maybe Democrats are afraid of being more exposed from what's happening around this overseas conflict. They might be, right? Ernest, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Perry, what's going on with you? Says blame the Biden and Harris administration on why Trump got reelected in the first place. There you go. That man of all people should not have been able to come back. You know what I mean? With all that he's got going on. And from what I understand, New York is having their mayoral primaries today. And looks like Andrew Cuomo might be in the running. Now they say he got a lot going on. Of course, when he was the governor, he stepped down because he was accused of Me Too stuff or whatever the case. And he's like, I'm back like the Terminator or whatever the case is. And I'm going to run for mayor. Now, I don't know if y'all heard, but Eric Adams, who is now the mayor, he's now an independent. He's running as an independent. He's not a Democrat anymore. It's like, boy, if you don't sit down, we know Trump gave you, a Hail Mary and dropped all those charges for you, but you ain't really bold enough to say you're a Republican just yet. So you're going to, shimmy to the middle and say that you're independent. Is like, knock it off. We can see the emperor has no clothes on, Anyway, maybe I should find another analogy. Nyla says FBA should make other stores similar to Target losing billions. We should shop. Black-owned and necessities only. Sitting out the election will not suffice. Phil Scott stated, no protesting, withhold your money. Yeah, that's true. And we've been asked to do that for a very, very long time. I tell y'all my story all the time. That's how I really got involved in doing this. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I think it was 2014, 2015, was like, hey, you know what? Let's boycott Christmas and all of that. Let's withhold our money. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna jump on that. I'm gonna piggyback what the minister was saying. And I started doing videos. A few of them went viral, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this. And so the rest is history. So yeah, that's been a call to action for a very long time. Of course, we know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, voting for anybody in the White House, they're not going to do anything for Black people, right? We need to do for self. So yeah. Negro says, Dr. King said, we coming to get our check. That's the energy and time we're on. Absolutely. And imagine if we would have been on that when he said it, right? Now, of course, he wasn't around too much longer after that, but, we knew he said it nevertheless, per that of, his name just skipped my mind. Daylight come and I want to go home. Harry Belafonte. That's what his testimony was, that Martin Luther King Jr. said that. Mad Dog says, wait, is it the president, the commander in chief of the military? Yeah, but if you want to, from what I understand, don't call me if you want to get too froggy. There are ways to say, yeah, we're taking, a military coup is what that is, right? We've seen that take place in various countries around the world where the military is like, Ibrahim Traore is a good example of that. So they do have some powers where they can say, you're done, sir. Sunlight says, I can't wait to see what taking reparations would look like on a mass scale. You and me both. All right, let me skip down. I know I'm behind. Shan, how you doing? He says, we will expect from America to do is unite and vote for the Democratic Party to get out of the office in general, as well as a Republican. You have your own party. So basically, Larry's saying we should have our own party. Is that what you're saying? Hey Herschel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Raven says, Black members of Congress didn't get reparation talk and action going. Blackfoot soldiers, especially in California, started the reparations for Black people, and the Blackfoot soldiers must pick up this battle again, just like we're staying home in a deportation issue. Stay home on unnecessary spending and voting, which will make the loudest noise completely, because money talks, right? If nothing else talks, it's money. Brother Ray says, yes, please get life insurance, especially if you have children. Yes, and as Walter says, and I think maybe he'll come on to here tomorrow to call him, but he says, if you don't have life insurance for your family, you're a horrible person. And I second that, because out of all the things we spend money on, I always tell people, as broke as I've been sometimes, and I've been broke before, I never let any of my life insurance policies lapse. Car insurance, none of that ever lapse, because if you think you're having issues now, God forbid somebody that relies on you or you take care of, up and die, and you have no life insurance, your problem just got 1,000 times worse, right? So yeah, you should have a life insurance. Diane, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. He says, we're living in a very interesting and exciting times. Things will be revealed and experienced like never before. You better tell them again. Mike, it says, did they tell others how to spend money, kick rocks, and flip flops with no socks? I like that. But you're right. They don't tell everybody else how to spend money. And Sunlight says, are term policies a good fit for cyclical income? I would say this: term is good for people when you're figuring things out. You're still figuring things out financially. Maybe you don't have enough money for the other policies that which could be more. A term life policy is a term, right? It's for a term, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years or whatever it is. And it's generally less expensive, depending on what your health is and things like that. Of course, age matters as well. But it's definitely a better option while you're figuring things out, when you're stabilizing your income. All right, let me skip down a little bit. Keep looking libtard. Okay, how you doing? Says Joe said, you ain't Black if you don't vote for me. He did say that, and a whole lot of Black people voted for Joe Biden. Agent Black, it says, amen, FBA need life insurance just like these folks. That's one way they keep wealth in the family. Thanks for the advice. Absolutely. And I've heard it before that said, if all Black people got life insurance, the life insurance companies will lobby Washington and say, hey, y'all need to rein in these police, these white supremacists, because we're paying a lot of money because y'all killing Black people wholesale, and we're having to come out of the pocket for that. So that'd be a good way to, because life insurance, they have the ear of Washington. You could believe that. A great example of that is 9/11. when Bush said, what did he say? An act of war has been committed upon America, something like that. And that canceled out a lot of people's life insurance policies that were hurt or killed in 9/11, because that's one of the clauses. War and some other things can cancel out life insurance policies. So that hurt a lot of people, which they need to change that, right? Norma says, I ain't voting for no damn mayor. They're all crooks. But, that particular politician affects you more so than the president, right? And the national level is he or she is the president of the local level. And they are in charge of the police and a whole lot of other things. So I think that one is more important than the person that's in the White House. Let's see. Rex, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Long time no see. Thank you. He says, I'm here, but I'm late, so I'm listening from the beginning. Okay, so you're way behind, and I got 5 more minutes. Yes, I Negroes. Adams is done, I think, as well. Eric Adams, New York City mayor. Sherry says, they don't realize that this is the Democrats' fault, that Donald Jamal Trump, is in office. Opening up the border made everybody mad, even the illegal family members that could vote. They're telling on each other. Have you seen that Africans are telling on each other and Hispanics are telling on each other, calling ICE? No, I haven't seen that. But that's crazy if that's what's going on, right? Rex says, love you, but I'm hella mad at you since I didn't see you while you were here. And so I know he's watching from the beginning. I know I next time I go, I gotta hang out with Rex and go to the pew pew range. 7 Cents says, my last day on vacation is in sunny Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Damn, it's over. It must have been nice. Brian, how you doing? Says FBA family. Herschel says, I hope New York remembers when the Democrats were putting up migrants in 5-star hotels when eggs were $16 a dozen. Yep. Timothy says, wow, why Eric Adams got to be a boy? Yeah, you're right. That was disrespectful. I shouldn't have called him a boy, but I didn't mean it that way. So please forgive me. I won't call him a boy again. Tracy says, keep looking. Okay, so you're talking to somebody else. Hey, Brother Samuel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Beverly says, people want to throw everything at President Trump, but Israel and Iran are playing with people's lives. Yep. Okay, so let's see. Nyla says, FBA don't have a pro-black leader nor politician since MLK, Malcolm X, and Marcus Garvey. Currently, no politician has a history of being pro-black. What are we going to do about this imperative issue? Well, don't vote on anybody who's not pro-black or at least has a black agenda or wants to do something for black people as well, like they do for everybody else specifically. So, yeah. Maxwell says, party means nothing. Voting doesn't work unless we own the politicians. We need to do for self. Black first. Absolutely. You're right, Raven. GoFundMe is not life insurance at all. And a lot of people learning that the hard way. Terry says, black empowerment is FBA political party reparations for my people. Absolutely. Frank, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Rodney, you say Dr. Conrad Worrell of BUF in Chicago started the reparations talk. And I know that in the 90s, my mom was heavily involved in it. I think it was Johnny Cochran. I know a lot of people have been, but I'm not familiar with him. Is he the one that started the ADOS movement? If I'm not mistaken. Panther Striker says, Queen Dimitri, if we are to be told what to do and insulted every election, I say the proverbial middle finger to any party demanding our participation and votes without tangibles. Absolutely. I co-sign that. If somebody on here tripping, if they on here tripping, moderators, you know what to do. Brother Don, did I say hello to you? If I didn't say hello to you, hello and forgive me. Tahada, how you doing? Says, no, they just want, will stop paying for the insurance back and get federal protection to do so. Well, they have to honor it. The life insurance policy, especially if you're out of the contestability period. It's a lot going on with it, but I think that they would. If black people get life insurance, yeah, they would say, y'all need to stop all that. We're going bankrupt, right? Herschel said they will just figure out a clause not to pay up. Well, they better already be in there before I signed my name on the dotted line. That's for sure. Yep. Polo Styles, how you doing? It says, is ICE giving out a reward money for each illegal? I do not know. Brother Samuel says, dental insurance is a major joke. I think the dentist said the max covered is $1,500. A dentist told me the same. It was over 30 years ago. Yeah, I don't have dental insurance. I just pay for stuff out of my pocket. I try to keep my teeth as clean and healthy as possible. In fact, I got to call the dentist and set up an appointment to get my teeth cleaned. Yeah, but it is. So I just pay for it out of pocket. Anything that I may need. And luckily, I don't have issues with cavities. I had 3 very small ones in my whole entire life. 2 small ones when I got pregnant with my daughter years ago. And then when I went vegan, I had a real tiny one, but that was it. So yeah. Raven says Trump is back in office because 54% of Latino and 39% of Latino women voted for Trump. They put him back in office. They helped, right? Absolutely. So let's see who else is on here before I leave. Black Rose, how you doing? Says ever since 1948, when the USA and the UK placed them in that land, the USA has been babysitting Israel. Yep, that's when they were there. If you know, you know, right? Norman says stay on code and using that code. The build is more important than waiting for a politician to be a savior. There you go. Accept your own and be yourself, right? Oh, thank you, Tracy. Okay, I figured y'all would get him because, yeah, I saw him up in here tripping. I see all the comments, believe it or not. Believe it or not, I see all the comments. Just don't have time to read them all. I got to the bottom. Mar JN, how you doing? Says we got them. So, yeah, Negroes, like you said, take care of your teeth. Take care of your teeth. And I know some people have genetic issues with their teeth or whatever the case is, I guess. But yeah, take care of your teeth, brush them, twice a day, floss them, all of that. Don't eat too much candy, sweets. You got to take care of your teeth from the inside as well. So fortify your teeth by the things that you eat and things like that. Believe it or not, I used to be a dental assistant. I never had a job as a dental assistant, but I went to school, got the certificate and everything. And after I graduated from that course, I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to be up in people's mouths like that. So I never technically worked as a dental assistant, but I know a little bit about teeth, right? It made me want to keep mine more so than anything. When seeing people get their teeth pulled out and all that, I was like, ah. So I never wanted that. I actually have all of my teeth, wisdom teeth and everything. So yeah. Faquan, how you doing? Yeah, brush your tongue too. Some people's tongue is like, was you licking on some powdered donuts? What's going on? And then they even have that thing, that you can scrape your tongue. I have one. I hate it. It's gross to me, but I do it because it's the concept of it is gross. But when you do it, it's like, yeah, I needed to do it. Yeah, electric toothbrush. I have electric toothbrush. I'm not a fan of it. They say you should use it opposed to a regular one. I'm a regular toothbrush type of person. I just prefer those more. It's also how you brush your teeth. You got to spend time on every tooth, each side of it, front, back, the flat surfaces, your gums, and like I said, your tongue and all of that. Brushing your teeth in 30 seconds is not going to work. Narma says, careful with the sweets and get those minerals from drinks and vegetables. There you go. Yep, Negroes floss. Brother Samuel says, I heard cavities can heal. They can, because that's what my dentist told me. She's like, the one cavity that I had, she says, it's not really big enough for me to do anything to, so she didn't. And I haven't had any issues with it since. So apparently it healed. Hey, Frank, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says citrus is good for your teeth. Yep, I use charcoal for my teeth. Norma says soft toothbrushes is the only way. Never use hard toothbrushes. I use a medium. That soft one ain't cutting it for me. The hard is too hard, but medium is what I like to use. And Brother Reddy says, be careful when you put where you put your tongue. You ain't lying. So anyway, Brother Damon says, here's a healthy hack for your teeth. Half a kiwi peeled, quarter cucumber peeled, and tablespoon of baking soda blended. Brush as needed. Yep, there's a whole lot of healthy natural remedies out there. I use natural toothpaste, natural deodorant, natural stuff on my skin. I don't use chemicals on my skin at all because your skin is your largest organ. And if you're putting chemicals on your skin, it's also absorbing into your body. So you have to be careful. Tracy says medium. Also, that soft one is for babies. Yeah, I can't do the medium. Mari says don't use an electric toothbrush because feeling causes feelings to come out. Yeah, it can, right? But I've had dentists say you should get an electric toothbrush. I'm like, well, we didn't have electric toothbrushes back in the day, right? So, Brother Samuel says, my top wisdom teeth are a problem. He said, holistically, it represents the lower organs in distress. Okay, I did not know that. In the mixed radio, how you doing? It says Ratchet Crockett, anti-AOC, and sellout immigrant. What? You talking about Illhan Omar? So anyway, yeah. Thank you, Mike. I love and appreciate you for that. Yeah, I like Hello toothpaste. I'm using I can't think of the name of it right now. I'll go to like Lush and they have the charcoal tablets. I'll get that, but I'm using another one now that I got from Sprouts. One who cares says eat cashews, they kill bacteria in the mouth. Cloves are helpful as well. Look at us coming through with all the healthy organic things. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. I will be back here tomorrow. Hopefully Walter will be with me. We'll see, right? I don't know what he want to talk about, but I'm sure it's going to be interesting. As you guys know, Walter is an interesting guy. So anyway, love y'all. Mahal, y'all. How you doing? It says he has a point. Fix your immediate home first. There you go. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.